A very pleasant night here from Southern California. A number of Mariners fans making the trip, cheering on the Mariners as we get set for Game 3 of this 4-game series from inside Angel Stadium. The Mariners losing last night to snap their 3-game winning streak, but the Mariners still winners of 9 of their last 11. They'll face a pretty tough lefty on the mend from Tommy John surgery. It is Tyler Skaggs taking the mound for manager Mike Scioscia, as the Angels last night finally saw their 11-game losing streak come to a close. The Mariners tonight will lead off with Sean O'Malley. And Mike, how about the rest of the Mariners starting lineup?
And Sean O'Malley, the switch hitter, will turn around, hit right-handed against the left-handed starting pitcher. Then it's Franklin Gutierrez in the lineup. He is going to hit second and play right field. Gutierrez, 11 home runs on the year. Dae-Ho Lee in the lineup. They need to get him hot again. Batting average down to 249. He does have 13 home runs on the year. Chris Iannetta this year against the Angels, 375 with a home run. Take a look at the numbers for Skaggs on the year. This will be his 5th start, a 4.37 ERA, 22 2/3. He has 22 strikeouts, 7 walks. Opponent's hitting .283. He's given up 3 home runs this year. And a look at the defense for the Angels. In the outfield, you have to start with Mike Trout. Covers a lot of ground in the outfield. Average throwing arm for him, but he can go get it. Then you have Gregorio Petit getting his 2nd start at second base here in this series. Carlos Perez getting his 1st start behind the plate. Last outing on Friday for Skaggs, lost to the Indians, 5 innings, 10 hits, 7 earned runs in that one. So his last couple outings, including the Mariners, have been a tough one for him. He did throw 96 pitches.
Skaggs, a former first-round draft pick by the Angels back in 2009. And then was traded for by Jerry Dipoto. Went over to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then Jerry coming here to Anaheim and traded to get him back. Here is Sean O'Malley to lead things off. Of course, O'Malley, the former Angel, made his big league debut with the Angels not long ago. And O'Malley looks at strike 1.
And for Skaggs, fastball, curveball, changeup. Basically, he's going to throw his fastball quite a bit, use his curveball as his off-speed pitch, an occasional changeup. His fastball right around 93.
Right back up the middle, Simmons in time at first base. O'Malley hustling, but 1 out.
And you can see Simmons looks up, had to put a little extra on this throw because Sean was really hustling down the line. Gets him by a half a step. Or maybe less than that.
He made it close.
Yeah.
1 up, 1 down, now facing Franklin Gutierrez. Now, the way last night's game was going, at the same time the way the game in Arlington was going, really the Mariners experienced a 2-game swing in the standings last night. The game between the A's and the Rangers going into extra innings. Texas eventually winning it on a walk-off, bases loaded, hit by pitch, if you can believe it. The Mariners, of course, leading at one point last night and leading late. So instead of being 4.5 games outside of Texas, the Mariners did tonight, Mike, 6.5 games outside of Texas.
Well, it's that time of the year, and again, you feel the sense of urgency every single night, but you have to keep in mind that you are going to lose some ball games, and at times your pitching is going to give up a home run from here and there, but just keep winning series, Aaron. That's all you can do at this point. They're right there as far as the wild card goes. When you look at the East, the teams that are ahead of them in the wild card, they're going to be playing each other. They're going to beat each other up. So just keep winning your series, and hopefully you can get to that point. And then, of course, you still have games left with the Rangers.
Full count to Gutierrez.
Skaggs with a good fastball. That one at 96 miles an hour.
One out, nobody on, just underway here in the top of the first. And Goody caught looking, borderline pitch. 2 outs.
Just a good fastball trying to hit the inside corner, and he was able to get it there. Nice job by Perez, the catcher for the Angels, to frame it.
A ground out and a strikeout for Skaggs, now facing Robinson Cano. Cano, of course, a monster first half, an all-star once again for the 7th time this year. Has scuffled some since the break, batting .219 since the Midsummer Classic. The 0-1.
Tyler Skaggs has a good fastball, and he is using it here in the first inning. It's been all fastballs, and he's topped out at 96. That last fastball, 95, right at the bottom of the strike zone.
The left-hander's 0-2. Some more heat from Skaggs.
Try to get that fastball in on his hands.
You look at the numbers, though, this year, Mike. The fastball, it seems like now, granted, limited starts for Skaggs coming off Tommy John, but it's been hit around a little bit, it looks like.
It has been, and again, his average is 93, so there's been times when he's been 91, 92, and probably in the middle of the plate. That has not been the case. That's a pretty good pitch, so Robbie gets a break, fastball on the corner. But we just saw him in Seattle, and although he had a good fastball, he didn't have this type of fastball. And again, he was in the middle of the plate, and the Mariners took advantage of that. In that game against Seattle, he went 5 1/3, gave up 9 hits, 4 runs.
Strikes out a couple, retires his side in order. Good curveball to finish off Cano. We go to the bottom of the first. Cody Martin coming on to start for the Mariners here tonight. Cody Martin making his 6th appearance and his first start this year for the Mariners. Will toe the slab here in Game 3 of this 4-game series. Yunel Escobar leading things off once again for Mike Scioscia as we take a look at the rest of the Halos starting lineup.
Escobar amongst the league leaders in batting average. Mike Trout with a home run in this series. In between the 2 games, he has 4 walks in this series. Cole Calhoun against the Mariners, you can see at .351 with a couple of home runs for him. Albert Pujols, a 3-run home run last night. 92 RBIs for Pujols. That is 2nd in Major League Baseball. Carlos Perez again getting his first start behind the plate. He will bat 8th. For Cody Martin, a 2.70 ERA in 10 innings. He has 5 strikeouts, only 1 walk, a big key for him. Opponents hitting .270, is yet to give up a home run.
Cody Martin getting called up when James Paxton went on the disabled list. Comes into the first pitch strike to Escobar. Found out today from Scott Service, Paxton will indeed be going on a rehab assignment at some point. We'll need a couple of innings to tune up.
For Cody Martin, he has all the pitches. His fastball on average is going to be right around 89 miles an hour. He will touch 90. Has a cutter and a curveball primarily, but he can mix in a slider and a changeup.
Off the chest of Dae-Ho Lee, and Robbie can't barehand it. Now Martin got the ground ball that he wanted, but also winds up with a base runner.
He was in pretty good shape covering first, too. I think if Cano would have been able to barehand it after it goes off of DeJoli's chest, they still would have been able to record the out. That'll be an infield hit.
Leadoff man aboard for Cole Calhoun. Cody, who spent plenty of time this year now with the Rainiers.
18 starts in AAA, 103 innings, 99 strikeouts, 30 walks for him, so good numbers there. Opponents hit just 256 against Cody, 9-7 record.
2-0 to Calhoun. Now Martin from California, 26 years old, from Dos Palos, California, about 5 hours north of I-5, but has some Northwest roots. Pitched 4 seasons in Spokane for the Zags. Was a Baseball America first team All-American his senior year back in 2011. A swinging strike to Calhoun. Angels last night snapping their 11-game losing streak. They picked up their 50th win. That leaves now the Rays and the Twins, the only teams in the league without 50 wins on the season. Mariners entering tonight 63 and 55. Martin falls behind Calhoun 3-1. Trout on deck, batting now .311 on the season. Escobar, the leadoff infield single at first base. Well, for a team that has been starving offensively in the Angels, last night was a bit of an offensive outburst. 7 runs last night for the Halos. That matched their total from the previous 3 games combined.
It's interesting coming into this series. They had lost 10 in a row. They just came off a 9-game road trip where they lost all 9 of those games. And that usually makes me a little bit nervous because, you know, eventually they're going to win a game and you just hope that they don't get things turned around. And last night kind of had that feel to it when the game was over and the Mariners ended up losing it. So hopefully the Mariners get back on track and win this game, win this series. 4-game series here. They won the first game of the series. So but you just feel like eventually the ball is going to bounce their way at some point.
Well, entering last night, the Angels had averaged barely 6 hits per game this month. This after leading baseball in runs in July. There goes Escobar. This is swatted towards right center. Escobar making the turn into third base and gets held there. Calhoun thumps a double, and the Angels have runners at second and third.
Another fastball. You can see the grouping of those pitches, all of them elevated, all of them away from Calhoun. He was able to catch up to that one at 89 miles an hour. Martin was shading a little bit the other way, and that's the reason why they were pitching him towards the outer half of the plate, but he ended up pulling it. Take a look at the defense for the Mariners. O'Malley getting the start out in left field. Aoki getting the night off. Franklin Gutierrez in right. Cruz had been in right field for the previous 3 games. Nelson is the DH. Lee at first. Iannetta will do the catching.
Now facing Mike Trout. Runners at second and third. Nobody out. Gets him for strike 1. Now, since the start of last season, Trout hitting over .340 against the Mariners.
We've talked about it with Mike Trout. He really likes the ball down in the zone, even down out of the strike zone. He can square it up. Low ball hitter. A lot of these fastballs from Cody here in the first are elevated towards the top of the strike zone. We really haven't seen his curveball yet, Aaron. So many times starters will try to get through the first time through the lineup on their fastball, maybe one of their off-speed pitches, but I think he's going to have to use his curveball if he wants to get out of this inning.
Bases are loaded.
Again, it's another fastball, 88 miles an hour. It's right in the tricep. He has a pad on, some protection. But Cody Martin now in all kinds of trouble. Albert Pujols with a 3-run home run yesterday. Now 92 RBIs on the season. That is second in Major League Baseball. In fact, he's tied with David Ortiz.
An early visit from Mel Stottlemyre Jr.
The home run that he hit out yesterday was on a fastball, and it was in the middle of the plate right at the knees. He just golfed it out to left center field. Take a look at it. Nick Vincent on the mound. It's a fastball. You can see it probably middle in at the knees. His 22nd home run on the year, a 3-run home run. That came after a couple of walks from Miranda.
Now, far and away the Halos' RBI leader right now. He's got the bases loaded, nobody out. Now that home run for Pujols, number 582, 11th all time, but he's one shy of tying Mark McGwire. He's 4 shy of tying Frank Robinson for 9th all time. So some milestones coming up, hopefully not against the Mariners. Into left field. Escobar scoring. Calhoun held up as O'Malley throws on the money home. 1-0 Angels.
We were just talking about it now. 93 RBIs for Pujols. It's so difficult to get through this part of the lineup when you don't have anywhere that you can put them. A couple of cutters from Cody Martin. A good idea. That's one of his better pitches, to try to get the ground ball in a double play. But unfortunately, that last pitch squared up by Pujols. One of the things the Angels have done well this year is hit with runners in scoring position. They came into the game hitting .277.
That brings in Marte. Ball 1.
And he had one of the more impressive home runs I've seen this year.
All year.
I think so. With Caminero on the mound, he threw 97 on the outside corner, which is difficult to just hit, but he was able to go out and hit it right down the line and hit the foul pole in left field. It was probably about halfway up that foul pole. It was an impressive at-bat from Marte. Because I really thought it was a pretty good pitch by Caminero. We'll take a look at it. He's going to go out. He knows it's going to be away. He goes out there and he just gets it. And it'll go right off the screen of the foul pole. That was his 9th home run of the year. You mentioned it last night, Aaron. For a team that doesn't hit many home runs, they ended up hitting 3 last night. So Mariners are going to have to try to keep him in the ballpark.
Only the Royals have hit fewer home runs in the league than the Angels. Now, the Royals never hit many home runs. That's not how they've been built. Bases loaded, still nobody out. And Martin ahead of the count, 1-2. This inning began with an infield single, then a double by Calhoun. Trout was hit by the pitch. And then Pujols quickly roped an RBI single into left. First 4 men have reached. And it's 2-2. Full count. Calhoun aboard at third base. It's Trout at second, and then Pujols at first. So some good speed at second and third base for the Angels. Cody Martin just looking to get the first out here in the first inning. Here comes his 3-2. High out towards left center. Martin makes a catch for round number one. Calhoun scores. Trout slides in safely. Pujols is out at second. Now Pujols looks like he's signaling for them to take a look at it.
We'll take another look at it. Kyle gets rid of it quickly. Hard to tell. That was close. Cano, one of the best at putting a tag on a runner quickly. Martin doing the right thing. He was trying to keep Trout at second base. A little bit surprised to see Pujols try to tag up. But a good play by Kyle. Was able to tell that he was not going to get Trout. No play at third. Cuts it off and gets rid of it quickly.
Two outs, Trout the only man left. And the first pitch fouled away by Andrelton Simmons. Well, Simmons was not in the lineup. I beg your pardon. He was in the lineup yesterday and then was scratched, was taken out of the lineup, and then we saw Simmons come out of the field. About midway through the game, Simmons having to leave the ballpark early yesterday because of a personal issue. Got that taken care of and was able to come back and suit up for Mike Scioscia. Up the middle, Cano. An off the heels throw, and it is in time, and Lee is able to hold on. A spectacular play by Robinson Cano when Cody Martin needed it the most.
Only 2 errors on the year and showing better range, especially back up the middle, and of course the strong throwing arm from Cano.
Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com. By your local Ford stores. And by the Emerald Queen Casino, presenting The Last Man Standing, comedian Tim Allen, October 15th. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. On to the top of the second. Robinson Cano saving a run for the Mariners. 2-0 Angels.
What a great play that was. He even had to double clutch a little bit on it, but still had plenty of arm to throw him out.
And that was remarkable.
And Simmons can get down the line. Save the Mariners a run with that play.
Strike one to Nelson Cruz. Well, we'll see if Skaggs can follow up what was a very impressive first inning.
Yeah, he topped out at 96 miles an hour, stayed with his fastball the entire first. The last pitch was his breaking ball to Cano to get the strikeout, but he went right after the Mariners. again, the Mariners just saw him at Safeco Field and hit him around a little bit. I think tonight he has a better fastball. See if he can maintain it.
The 2-1 to Cruz. Evens it up. Another look at that curveball. Doubles up on it. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I don't know that if anybody in the league has beat up their foot and leg more than Nelson Cruz. He went through a stretch where he was able to DH, and that certainly helped. And he's DHing tonight after playing right field. And it looks like it's on the pad even, but it's so bruised up, it still hurts.
We will soon see him in a full suit of armor at this rate.
Well, you look at the right-handers that can really sink the ball, or a lefty that could throw that cutter or slider down and into him. That's typically the type of pitch that he's going to hit off of his leg. And that's exactly what happened right there. He's trying to walk it off. Rob Nodine, the trainer, Scott Service out.
Meanwhile, Skaggs will stay warm. Now Cruz will dig back in there. He's got Seager on deck and then DeJoly. The 2-2.
Yeah, typical of most pitchers, after you hit a ball off your foot like that, they're going to go right back in there again. Just missed the inside corner.
And Cruz, after all that, draws a leadoff walk. And we'll take a spin around the Delta Airlines keep climbing wild card standings, and you look at the Tigers, the Astros, the Yankees all losing today, so that's all good news for the Mariners. 2 games of separation between Houston and New York. The Mariners, of course, will be seeing the Yankees on the upcoming homestand after the Brewers are in town. Red Sox and Orioles finishing up the series. And tough scheduling for the Red Sox. A 2-game series that ends tonight, and then they fly to Detroit, and then a 1 o'clock tomorrow in Motown. Here is Seager.
I think on that one, Aaron, you could go down to the Mariner dugout or to clubhouse tomorrow and take a poll and see who feels sorry for him.
You won't find anybody here.
I don't think so.
Curveball for strike 2. 0-2 here to Seager with Cruz aboard. Kyle now an RBI shy of number 80 on the season. At least judging by the numbers, Mike, it sure seems like Seager is beginning to come around a little bit with that batting average against lefties.
He hit lefties well last year, and he got off to a poor start this year, although he's been able to maintain his power numbers against the lefties. You're right about his average, but I think over the last couple of weeks he's done some pretty good work to get his average into the 2 teens right now off of lefties. So you're right, heading in the right direction. He'll pick up a base hit right here.
A good example of it. As the Mariners have the first 2 reach, a walk and now a single into right field by Seager. 2-1, nobody out for DeJoly. Now Jacoby Ellsbury and the Yankees come to town to visit Safeco Field, facing Nelson Cruz of the Mariners in a 3-game series starting on Monday at 7:10. For tickets, visit mariners.com. Yankees will begin their West Coast swing here in Anaheim, and then will be coming to Safeco Field for a few.
You know, seeing Kyle get the base hit off the lefty, talking about his average, and that'll certainly help it. The Mariners, hitting with runners in scoring position, have their batting average as a team up to 263, which is pretty good in the American League. But it is a huge improvement from where they've been the last few years. Last few years they've been right around 200, so 263 is a good number for them. Dae-Ho Lee hitting 268 with runners in scoring position on the year.
One and one. Fair to attribute a decent amount of that, Mike, to just cutting down the strikeouts this year?
That certainly helps. You put the ball in play, you have a chance. And the Mariners have done a better job of it. Something that Jerry DiPoto talked about over the winter and even going into spring training. He wanted to see that happen, and it certainly has this year.
Dae-Ho ahead of the count, 2-1, as he represents the go-ahead run. Dae-Ho trying to get out of a bit of a rut. 4 for his last 48, spanning 18 games. The 2-1. Perez not seeing it, but this is a foul ball.
You mentioned his struggles lately, Aaron. Part of that is what you just saw. He's getting a fastball to hit, and instead of putting it in play, he's either swinging and missing or fouling it off, and then they go to work on him. It's interesting to watch him this year. Obviously, they didn't have a lot as far as scouting reports go, and everybody tried him with the fastball early on, and that's when he was hitting for a lot of power, and then it was just a steady diet of breaking balls, and we saw him hit the ball the other way. Now they're doing a better job of mixing things up on him. Really trying to get that fastball in on his hands. Constantly having to make adjustments at this level.
Inetta, the former Angel, on deck.
He's done well against his former team this year.
Dae-Ho will reach. The bases are loaded.
3-2. We were talking about it earlier in the year. They would have come right at him with a fastball, and he probably would have turned it around. But right there, a breaking ball hits him in the leg. 77 miles an hour. Charles Nagy, the pitching coach for the Angels, makes the trip out to the mound, have a conversation with him. But a great situation for the Mariners. Mariners averaging almost 5 runs a game on the road this year.
And there's no team in the league scoring more runs away from their home ballpark than the Mariners. We have not seen an out recorded here in the second, and we have already seen a visit from both pitching coaches. Angels getting 2 runs in the bottom of the first. A spectacular play by Cano into the inning and helped save a run.
And you can see what Chris has done in his career with the bases loaded, hitting over 300, has 4 grand slams, and this will be a good matchup for him. He likes the fastball, he likes it middle in.
Looks at ball 1. Well, Skaggs has allowed a walk, a single, and has hit a batter with a full count. The bases are loaded with nobody out here in the second. You would think that changeup from Skaggs, that Iannetta would be a candidate for that, but have we seen many of those changeups yet?
We haven't. He's been using his curveball along with his fastball. In the first inning, it was all fastballs. He threw his curveball at the last pitch to Cano. In this inning, he's mixed it up a little bit more. Still throwing a lot of fastballs. He has a good fastball tonight. He's topped out at 96. That's 2 fastballs in a row at 95. Obviously, the Angels know Iannetta well because both of those fastballs away from him.
Mariners a huge chance here in the second. Tying run is at second base. The go ahead at first.
We talk a lot about the defense, Aaron. We talk about shifts and where guys are playing. And sometimes you can look, and with where Mike Trout is playing, he's telling them that they're going to try to pitch him away. And that's where it's been. It's been away this entire at bat. Here comes one inside. Pretty good swing by Chris. He's able to stay inside of it, but it'll give you an idea of what they're going to do to try to get you out. Sometimes you can watch the second baseman. As the pitcher starts his windup, he'll move one way or the other, let you know if it's a fastball or an off-speed pitch. In other words, the tendency of him pulling a certain pitch for Iannetta, if it's something off speed, you can watch him, and if they start moving around, and the bench will keep an eye on that and give it away.
Bags packed, the 2-2. Off of Escobar's glove, Simmons to pick it up. He's got no play. Cruz scores, and the Mariners are on the board. The bases remain loaded as Iannetta comes up with an RBI.
Pretty good battle. We were showing the numbers of what he'd done against the Angels this year, hitting .375, and this pitch is in the middle of the plate. He hits it hard right off the glove of Escobar.
Seager into third, Lee into second base. And the pitch to Martin. And it was the Angels in the bottom of the first inning to have the first 4-man reach. And the Mariners have done the same thing here in the second. Oh, 2. Now, he has not been afraid to double up on that curveball so far tonight.
No, that's exactly what Martin is saying, and probably Martin standing on deck, even when he was waiting to come out on deck, is watching him and throwing nothing but fastballs for the most part, but 2 curveballs in a row.
I saw that to Cano earlier as well. Bases loaded, tying run is at third base. And still nobody out here in the second. This time a curve lifted out to center. Plenty deep. Trout, a late adjustment. Seager steaming down the line, and this game is all tied up. Martin behind in the count.
Yeah, a couple of things. One, this pitch, they wanted to throw it down off the plate away, and the pitch is actually up and in the middle of the plate. So a mistake right here, and Martin in good position to take care of it, hits it deep. That part of the evening where it's going to be difficult for the outfielders to see it. You can see Trout clearly loses it. Able to come up and make the catch. And because of that right there, Aaron, Dae-Ho Lee, who normally would not tag up in that situation, ends up tagging up at second base, so paying attention, and moves up to third on that play. If Trout had been underneath it right away, he would not have tried it. So a break for the Mariners, him moving up to third.
I saw Perez having a hard time chasing a pop-up foul. The Angels catcher, Trout now as well. Good move by Dae-Ho Lee. It brings in Ketel Marte. Dae-Ho Lee at third base, the go-ahead run. Blocked the foul. You know, along the lines of Martin, Mike, we saw him go the opposite way for an RBI the other night. Tonight, the sacrifice fly with 2 strikes against him, 3 straight curveballs.
We were talking about it right before he went on the disabled list. He had about a 2-week stretch where he was the hottest hitter in the lineup, and it was because he was using the entire field.
Close pitch that time, 1-2.
Well, he's thrown a lot of fastballs that have been borderline off the inside corner, and fortunately for the Mariners, Alan Porter, home plate umpire, is getting it correct. That pitch is off the plate. It's a ball.
Porter, a very young umpire, but a very accomplished one in terms of postseason assignments. Now in his 6th season as a major league ump. Still 1-2.
And Skaggs, who had an easy first inning, he only threw 13 pitches. He is now at 43 pitches here in the ballgame. So the Mariners going to work on his pitch count. Now 44 pitches, 27 strikes.
Oh, you're right about that first inning. It looked like Skaggs was about to settle into the rocking chair at that point, but you can see here 31 pitches this inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Marte. He's got runners on the corners and 1 out. Chance to give the Mariners the lead here in the 2nd. Dae-Ho Lee hit by the pitch now at 3rd. It was Iannetta who got the Mariners on the board first here in the 2nd inning. The RBI infield single. Strike 3 called. Third strikeout for Skaggs. We'll take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next. It'll be the matchup of 2 really good splitters, Iwakuma versus Shoemaker. Iwakuma has been on an absolute roll. He is 1 win shy, Mike. You can see 14-7. He's 1 win shy of a career best.
Yeah, I was looking at the walk total for both of them. Guys are going to have to swing the bats tomorrow. Not many walks there. Iwakuma with 33, Shoemaker with 27 on the year.
And the opposing averages about dead even as well. To the top of the order, it brings in O'Malley. He looks at ball 1.
Good job laying off the changeup down.
O'Malley grounded out to Simmons to begin the ball game, but he made it close.
One of the things that we saw in this series was Marte dropping down a bunt with 2 outs and a runner at 3rd. The Mariners ended up picking up a run. And I was watching Escobar when O'Malley first was in the batter's box. He was playing back again, and the dugout got his attention, and so he had to run back in. He's even with the bag now. So that's one thing that we've seen from Sean all year. He typically, over the course of a game, he will try to drop a bunt down, and that might have been a good situation. Only reason why maybe he wouldn't is because Dae-Ho Lee is the runner at 3rd.
Dae-Ho at 3rd, Iannetta at first base. 2 outs. Now this is an inning that the Mariners really have a chance to make some noise. You have the leadoff walk, then the single. Dae-Ho hit on a full count. The base hit by Iannetta, so the first 4 reached. Then the sac fly by Martin. Marte, a nice battle, but strikes out looking. Mariners trying to take the lead here in the 2nd. 2-2.
Well, the other part about it is they are really going to work on the pitch count of Skaggs. He's now at 51 pitches, so 38 pitches in the inning. The Angels have struggled. Their bullpen has had its issues. Overall, they're 11th in the American League in ERA.
Yeah, you think about the pitch count, 52 pitches for Skaggs to get the first 5 outs.
Yeah, and you wonder because you hear managers and pitching coaches talk about it all the time, stress pitches, and this is a young man that's coming off of an injury, and this is his 5th start of the year, and he's going to throw 40 pitches in this inning, so you wonder how long he'll be around.
The 2-2. And a full count to O'Malley.
And this will be the 8th pitch of this at-bat. Franklin Gutierrez waiting on deck.
Runners on the corners, 2 outs, all tied up 2 apiece. And here comes the 3-2. O'Malley strikes out swinging. That ends the inning. The Mariners butcher Skaggs' pitch count. They get 2 runs. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. Not be tied as we take a look at our Big Fish Casino big catch. What a play this was to end the first.
I think he's the only second baseman that can make this play. Plenty of them probably get to this ball, but the ability, you can see how far away he is to make that throw. And that's with a runner at 3rd and 2 outs. I don't know if anybody else can do a pretty good pick by Dae-Ho Lee at first. And he knows it. You see the smile on his face. Special play.
Bottom 3rd of the order due up for the Angels as Nick Buss looks at strike 1. Slicing into left center field, Buss is aboard the base hit. Trying to take 2. Here's a throw, the tag, and he's out. Martin cut that off in the blink of an eye. What a throw.
And we just learned something about Buss. He can run. I was surprised that he tried it. Very close play at second base, and a strong throw by Martin. Espino dives on him to get him on the shoulder just before his hand touches the bag.
First pitch, a strike to Carlos Perez. Perez just called up today. Giovanni Soto, who was scratched from the lineup at last night's game because of a knee issue, has been placed on the disabled list. The 23rd time the Angels have used the DL this year. 2-1. Cody Martin working today on 6 days rest since his last start with Tacoma. Making his first start this year for the Mariners, his 6th appearance overall. His 2-2.
Talking about the Angels and the moves. This seems like a high number to me. They have DFA'd 20 players this year.
What?
20. 198 transactions, DFA'd 20 players.
Well, that's terrifying. 20?
Yeah.
Who's left?
That's a problem. Quite a bit of turnover, Aaron.
I guess we'll keep Trout, we'll keep Pujols, let's keep the Calhoun guy. Everybody else, fair game. My goodness, 20 DFAs. Three and 2 to Perez. Just gets a piece. Martin with the bare hand, and it is in time to get the Angels catcher at first base.
Good communication between Cody Martin and Chris Iannetta. That made the only play he had barehanded, get rid of it quickly with something on it. Perez was able to get down the line in pretty good shape. We see it so many times, Aaron, where the pitcher and the catcher either run into each other or they get confused and they both peel off of that ball and it ends up just laying there on the grass. So good communication on that play.
2 outs for Gregorio Petit, the number 9 hitting second baseman.
And there's the curveball from Cody Martin.
Here comes the 2-1. And Martin behind 3 balls and 1 strike. Two-out walk to the number 9 hitter. Well, girls' night out, Mariners edition. Spend the night with the girls at Safeco Field on Friday, September 2nd. Get a ticket and first drink for $35 through this special ticket offer. Thanks to EQC. Visit mariners.com/girls for tickets and details. First walk tonight for Martin. And it brings in Yunel Escobar. That puts the go-ahead run aboard. There goes Petit. Iannetta to second, and they got him. Petit cut down at second base, and that ends the second inning. Our way to the top of the third inning here from inside Angel Stadium. We take a glance at our Geico this date in big league history. We go back to the year 1997. The Bone, Mariners Hall of Famer, becomes the first Mariners player with 3 consecutive 30 home run seasons. Here's Goody to lead off the third. Which home runs do you remember the most from the Bone?
The one I remember the most was in the playoffs in '95 against the Cleveland Indians. And the circumstances around it was Jay was in right field and he misplayed a ball out there, which rarely happened. Jay's a Gold Glover and typically he's right on point, but he misplayed the ball and it cost us a couple of runs. And I'll never forget it. I was in the dugout and he was coming in and he obviously was not happy. And he was hitting that inning and he was looking like he was going to be the GOAT in that game. And I just looked at him and I said, you can change it all right now. And he went up there and hit a ball out to right center. And I mean, it was way out. And we ended up winning the game because of it.
Nice pep talk, Blow.
I just mentioned it to him, you know, and he went up there and it was an awesome home run.
Gets a strike in to make it 3-1 to Gutierrez.
So I remember that one probably the most. I know most people talk about him hitting the ambulance in New York.
That's what I thought you would go with.
Yeah. Yeah, that was impressive.
Deep the opposite way and foul. It's a full count to Goody, who homered off of Skaggs when the Mariners faced Skaggs back at Safeco Field. Gutierrez, Cano, and Cruz due up here in the Mariners' third. All tied up. Simmons on a couple of bounds. 1 out. That'll bring in Cano. Catch a new episode of Seahawks All Access tonight at 10:30 Pacific. Get exclusive player interviews and Seahawks stories you just can't find anywhere else. Due to NFL restrictions, Seahawks All Access is only available for viewers in the Seattle and Portland markets. For your local programming schedule, visit rootsports.com. One out for Cano, who struck out on a curveball his last time up. And Cano leans into this deep out to right field, and it is just off the wall. As much of a crushed double as you can have.
It's an impressive swing. 93 miles an hour on the inside corner. It's elevated. It's belt high. Had an inside out swing. That ball, even though he pulled it a little bit, almost sliced up against the wall. He hit the yellow line in right field. I was just thinking about his first at bat, and Tyler Skaggs was throwing him his good fastball, and they were on the outside corner. Eventually put him away with a curveball. So first pitch fastball, and he turned it around. Pretty good swing.
Go ahead run in scoring position. It brings in Cruz. And Cruz high out to center. Trout picking up some speed, and he has just enough room. Cano makes it into third. We were that close to seeing the Mariners get 2 runs on 2 swings.
Take a look at it, see how close it is. Right there, so that close to a run. And then Nelson out to dead center field. Trout was getting ready to climb the wall. You can see it, but instead he catches it right in front of the wall. That'll bring up Kyle Seager. Kyle had a base hit on a breaking ball his first time up.
Good stop by Perez.
Talked about Kyle quite a bit last night and his production with 2 outs, and that's the situation he's in right now. He's also really done a nice job hitting with runners in scoring position this year, hitting .318 overall. He leads the team in RBIs with 79.
Two and nothing. Seager with 2 strikes against him. His last at bat was able to put a single into right field. Ahead of the count here. And now 3-0.
And Kyle always has the green light, 3-0. He likes to swing 3-0. Typically we'll look for a fastball middle in. He likes to pull the ball in this situation.
A 2-out walk. Seager reaches for the second time, and that pitch was very borderline.
And that's why he took it.
We've talked about this from time to time, Mike, but having the green light on 3-0 is not maybe as easy as it sounds to be guaranteed you're going to have a pitch that you want to hit.
No, there's no guarantee in it at all, and that's the reason why typically you'll see veteran guys have that luxury, and they typically are the guys that are hitting in the middle of your lineup with some power, and the manager will let them swing away, but he's trusting them to be disciplined enough to get the pitch in an area that they like it, and if they don't, they'll take it. And Kyle is really good at that, and he's done some damage at 3-0 counts, especially over the last couple of years.
Strike one to Dae-Ho Lee.
Because sometimes I think with younger players, they get excited and they're going to swing at any fastball in the air because they know they're going to get a fastball. And you'll see some bad outs in those situations. And so I think as far as Scott Service goes, he has his guys, Cano, Cruz, Seager, they all get the green light. We've seen Gutierrez get it, another veteran.
Lee behind 0-2. A chance to give the Mariners a lead with 2 outs here in the 3rd inning with Cano at third base. All the way the 0-2. Next pitch, number 70 from Tyler Skaggs. Cano the double high off the wall, inches shy of a homer. Now standing at third. Seager a walk on 4 pitches at first. Strike 3 called as Lee will have to walk back to the dugout. A pitch right near the top. The Mariners strand 2. Okay, thank you, Angie. Here is Escobar to lead off the bottom of the third. He was stranded at the plate to end the second when Petit was caught stealing. The 1-1 from Cody Martin. Into left field and in front of O'Malley. Escobar 2 for 2. That puts a man on base for Cole Calhoun.
He really has been an important player for the Angels and their offense this year. And the biggest reason why is came into the game hitting .308 amongst the league leaders, and now with a couple of hits, he's back over .310. The biggest reason why is because everybody is doing the same thing that we talk about, and that is game planning to pitch around Trout. Try not to give him anything to hit, but if you have the guys on base in front of him, it makes it tougher. And he's obviously been on base quite a bit this year.
Well, that is his role. There are not many everyday leadoff men that have gone 0 for 3 in steal chances this year, but that's what Escobar has been. He is not a guy who will light up the base paths, but he gets on base. Long way to go. 1 out. As Patel Marte tracks it down. 1 out, 1 on. That brings in Mike Trout. I hope you can stick around after the game for Mariners post-game presented by Delta Airlines. Angie, Ryan, and Brad will be with you as we'll hear from the skipper as always. Let's see what Kiddo has to say about his. Well, can we even call that a wall ball double? That almost seems like we're cheating him. It was a yellow line double. Trout taking ball 1.
Along those lines, with trying to pitch around Trout and having the guys on in front of them, it's always interesting to me to listen to different pitchers talk about it. And Ryan Rowland-Smith is going to join us, and we can ask him. But typically, I think they'll circle that one guy that they really need to be careful with. And are they willing to walk him even with guys on base? Or is that, at that point, do you feel that you just need to make a good pitch? I know we used to see it all the time with Junior. Trying to pitch around him, and you would do it for a couple of at-bats, and then you'd try to throw a strike, and he would hit it in the seats.
Well, the most extreme example of that comes to mind is when Buck Showalter intentionally walked Barry Bonds with the bases loaded.
I believe they had a 2-run lead, so he gave them 1 run.
1-2.
There are those guys that, and Trout is in that category, they're just so special and dangerous that sometimes you just don't want to deal with them at all.
The 1-2. Trout holds back.
Since the first inning, Cody Martin started to mix in his curveball a little bit more. He's been able to get it over for a first pitch strike, and I think it's important. If you look at his fastball has been 87 to 89 miles an hour. He has to locate, but also with a hitter, you have to put something else in the back of their mind. You have to give them something to think about other than just the fastball and cutter. So I think the curveball will help him out, even if he misses with it. Because as a hitter, you have to know that he's willing to throw that pitch.
The 2-2. A squibber over by Seager. A throw on the run. Cano to first base, and Trout, a tough guy to double up. 2 outs.
Again, we were talking about the curveball, then he throws a fastball, a 2-seamer right on the inside corner, jams him. So Kyle gets the lead runner. No chance to turn 2 with Trout running, and he didn't hit it hard. But a good pitch by Cody Martin to get it in on his hands.
Now facing Pujols.
Pujols had a base hit and an RBI. He had a cutter It was down out over the plate, and he lined it in the left field.
Now, Cody Martin has been helped out by his defense over the first 2 innings as we play here in the third. Half of his first 6 base runners were thrown out at second base. And Pujols was one of them. Bus tried to stretch a single to a double. And then a caught stealing as well.
Martin with a couple of outfield assists, 2 outfield assists here in this game. That ties a record for the Mariners for center fielders. Plenty of game left for him to get the record all by himself.
And plenty of arm too. 2 outs, Trout at first base. The go-ahead run. Now Jeffrey Marte is on deck. He would hit if Pujols can reach. Here comes the 3-1. Full count is I got the plate in a part of Pujols too, it sounds like. You saw Pujols before he was Albert Pujols, didn't you, Mike? At least for one day.
I did. He was actually playing right field, I believe.
That tells you a little bit about it.
Cardinals were finishing up spring training against the Mariners at Safeco Field, and this young guy, Albert Pujols, and for whatever reason, Tony La Russa was raving about him, and I thought, oh, it looks like he's going to be a pretty good player. Ends up making the team, and I believe he was Rookie of the Year that year.
And 582 home runs later, here he is tonight.
Yeah, most home runs by any active player.
Cut on and missed as Pujols wants no part of that bat. He goes right through the curve. And with that, Trout is stranded. We're through 3, all tied up. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by CHI Franciscan Health, the Mariners' official partners in health. Learn to stay Northwest healthy at nwhealthy.org. By Frontier Communications, providers of next generation Fios TV and internet. And the new face of Strong, the 2016 Chevy Silverado. A very beautiful night here from Anaheim as the Mariners and the Angels are all tied up 2 apiece. We go to the top of the 4th. As we play in game 3 of this 4-game series, and it's nice to have Ryan Roland Smith up in the booth. Ryan, good to have you.
Good to be here, guys.
We'll see Iannetta, Martin, and Marte due up here facing Tyler Skaggs. Skaggs really labored, Ryan, in that second inning. Over 40 pitches. What have you made so far from the lefty?
Yeah, 41 pitches. And we spoke about this in the pregame. It can be tough. It's been a year, pretty much exactly a year since he had the Tommy John surgery. So he's still coming back. There's still a lot of inconsistencies there. You can see the stuff. And this guy could be, a 2-3 in your rotation type guy. But just a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of, missed opportunities, especially when he gets 0-1, 0-2 in the count.
Ryan, when you look at that, and you just mentioned it, 41 pitches in the second inning. Where is that as far as when the manager and the pitching coach are looking at him? If you were expecting him to throw right around 100 pitches, how is that going to affect him if the Mariners keep working on that pitch count, especially coming off of the injury?
Yeah, exactly. And this is his 6th start coming back at the big league level, and there's something about.
This is cracked deep out to center field. Trout looking, and it is touched by a fan and comes back down onto the field of play.
That looked like it was almost in the exact same area as the ball that Cano hit. Chris looked as if he thought he had enough of it to hit it over the wall. The fan clearly was reaching over into the field of play and was able to get a piece of the ball, and that's why it was ruled a double. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, so Chris getting in the way of my breakdown. No, just back on Tyler Skaggs. You can see the stuff there, but you talk about with the pitch counts. Anytime, obviously, you want to stretch him out to 100 pitches, but when you get a guy like that laboring, especially second, third inning, it's those high stress pitches, runners on base constantly behind you. You got to make pitches. You're not just grooving fastballs all day. He's trying to throw that big breaking ball, and that adds to that count. And the other thing is to the adrenaline. At this level, you can go and pitch all day in AAA and do your rehab starts, but when you get to this level, the adrenaline is the other factor in that.
First pitch curveball to Martin as he was trying to bunt, move him along. Escobar in on the grass at third.
0-2.
Martin has seen 5 pitches so far, and they've all been the curveball. He's able to pick up a sacrifice fly his first time up.
So Skaggs working with the go-ahead run right behind him. This is smoked into right field. Drops well in front of Calhoun. Iannetta held up at third base. And the Mariners with the runners on the corners.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I really like pitchers a lot. That's 6 curveballs in a row. He has a sacrifice fly and now just a rocket in the right.
And that 0-2 pitch, that's not where Tyler Skaggs is trying to throw that pitch. You saw that this exact same at bat against Leonys Martin. He threw that really good breaking ball, that good slant on it early in the count, and then he came back and hung it. And that tells me when you're coming back to this level, you're just trying to do a little bit too much. That front side flies open, and you saw the catcher set up down and away, and that pitch is just hanging out over the plate.
Just trying to overthrow it.
Just trying to overdo it, especially with 2 strikes.
Time called.
Well, good opportunity for Marte to pick up an RBI, give the Mariners the lead.
Well, the Mariners stranded a runner at third base in the second, and in the third inning, they've got Iannetta at third base here in the fourth.
So far, they are 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position tonight.
Iannetta the double. Martin the single into right field. There goes Martin. And a poor throw that somehow Petit is able to stab and keep him going into center.
Well, this is something that I like saying. This is the second stolen base on the road trip for Martin. Clearly his hamstring is feeling a lot better, and he can have such an impact for the Mariners on the bases now that he's healthy.
Well, for Skaggs in his last start on the road trip in Cleveland, the Tribe swiped 8 bags, 7 of them coming against Skaggs. Soto was the catcher for that game, now on the disabled list. Second and third base.
You know, this is something that I think especially young players don't realize, but we saw it a lot on the homestand, and it was Marte, Martin, O'Malley out working early with Scott Service on their bunting. And because Marte has dropped a bunt and picked up an RBI, you have Escobar in, you have the first baseman Marte in. You may not think much of it, but that really limits their range. And over the course of a season, who knows how many ground balls he's going to hit that gets past those guys because they're so aware of his ability to bunt. So it's more than just getting a bunt and a base hit. It's opening up that infield for you too.
Nobody out, 2 on, top of the 4th. That's a shot high off the hands out to left field, but right there is Buss to make the catch. Iannetta down the line, and the Mariners have taken the lead. Their second sacrifice fly, and it's now 3-2 Mariners. So high fives all around for Marte as we take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next. Tomorrow the finale. Iwakuma getting the start going up against Matt Shoemaker. Mariners saw Shoemaker not that long ago back on the homestand. He had a quality start against the Mariners. Well, the Mariners have won 10 of the last 13 starts when Iwakuma's been up on the mound. He's been remarkable. As here is Charles Nagy, the pitching coach, out for a word.
He's amazing to me, Ryan Iwakuma, and I think it's one of the things that makes him special, and the Mariners have really needed it because their rotation has been in flux and they have guys in and out of the rotation. He's been the steadying part of that. But how this guy can consistently pitch 7+ on right around 90 pitches.
Yeah, it's been impressive, and he's this calm presence out on the mound, and he's a guy that, you know, obviously we've got a spot start going on right now with Cody Martin, and you know the starting rotation is in duct tape at the moment, you know, just with all the movement and everything else. But when you have a guy like that to finish off your road trip with that consistency to get you deep in the game, that's a huge plus for your team.
Now some activity brewing in the bullpen. Mike Morin as O'Malley climbs in for the 3rd time.
I'll be curious, Ryan, when you're going into a start, and do you have an idea if the bullpen is spent or not, and if you have to do a little bit of extra work on a given night?
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. There's times where a manager will come up to me and say, hey, look, you need to go deep in the game. It's like, well, obviously that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get 7-8 innings. So
O'Malley pushes the bunt. Skaggs with a bare hand and safe. Meanwhile, Martin down the line, and he scores. It's 4-2 Mariners.
It is amazing what speed will do for you. Mike Scioscia, he wants to probably take a look to see if O'Malley was tagged. Martin was clearly safe at the plate, but we'll take another look at it. Marte ends up coming off the bag, wasn't sure what to do, and O'Malley, it looks like he misses him. Tremendous speed by O'Malley. Might get a better look right here to see if he actually touches him. It looks to me as if he misses him. And I'm not sure if they're going to take a look at it or not. It appears that they are. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, coming over to have a conversation with Alan Porter. They may be discussing whether he was out of the baseline to avoid the tag. I think he was fine on that end of it, and they're not going to review it. But what a play by Martin. I love that because he comes around hard around third, and it was a pretty good play by Marte, the first baseman, to try to make a play on him. And here's another look at O'Malley busting down. He's in good shape as far as the baseline goes. There's no problem there. That'll be an infield hit for him and an RBI. But then for Martin to come around the bag and throw behind him, what I liked is he just kept on going to home. So many times runners will try to get back, and then they'll get caught, and there's all kinds of problems. And now Mike Scioscia out of the dugout looks like he's going to get Tyler Skaggs.
2 runs across for the Mariners here at the top of the 4th. And that will end the night for Tyler Skaggs. As the Mariners have chased Skaggs out of the game after 3 1/3, and we will see Mike Moore in for the second time. But first, the final line on Skaggs.
Yeah, he really struggled. The Mariners did a good job going to work on him. Just 3 1/3, 6 hits, 4 runs they were earned. He's responsible for O'Malley, who was at first base. A couple of walks, 5 strikeouts. He threw 82 pitches in the ball game. Mike Moore going to take over. 42 appearances on the year, a 4.65 ERA, 34 strikeouts, over 10 walks. Opponents hitting .233. He's given up 4 home runs. Really good changeup for Moore, and his fastball right around 91 miles an hour. Also mix in a slider.
He's facing Gutierrez. So 2 runs in here in the 4th inning for the Mariners. They have 2 in the 2nd. O'Malley at first base, the only runner, 1 out. And Goody looks at strike 1.
Starts him off with a slider.
Now, this is not normally the way that we have seen the Mariners score 4 runs in a game. A couple of sacrifice flies, an RBI infield single, and then O'Malley putting it on the ground, and Martin coming all the way in from second base. This is not the mashing Mariners that we're seeing here tonight.
It's not, but when you think about it, the Mariners obviously have scored a lot of runs on the home run this year, Aaron. But if you go all the way back to spring training and what Jerry DiPoto and Scott Service kind of envisioned for this club, this is kind of what they were looking at.
No doubt.
And it's good to see the speed show up.
That to me is one of the storylines for the Mariners all season long that can easily be forgotten. Nobody saw this power coming from the Mariners to this degree, and right now the 3rd best home run hitting team in baseball, trailing just the Orioles and the Blue Jays. But this is the identity that we really thought we would be seeing, and Jerry and Scott as well, for the Mariners this season. But the home run ball really has taken over in many ways.
But the other thing about it is you have to remember Martin was on the disabled list with a hamstring. And so that's really slowed him up. It's good to see him finally healthy and running, and you have a good idea of what he's capable of doing. He also stole a base along with scoring right there from 3rd. And then you have Marte, who's been on the disabled list twice. So you're 2 guys that have all the speed, and O'Malley has basically the second half joined this club and has made an impact with his speed.
1-2.
Sean O'Malley, since that All-Star break, has done so many things. You know, so many big hits, and you saw right there, just laying a bunt down with 2 strikes, and speed absolutely kills.
Well, it's one of the things when you're talking about winning streaks and winning series, you're not always going to have that home run available to you, but if you can manufacture some runs, you can keep that winning alive, and I think that's what they were envisioning, and it's nice to see it here. O'Malley's getting a pretty good lead at first.
You look back to last night's game, that snapped 6 consecutive games with the home run for Scott Service's Mariners. And earlier this year, we saw the Mariners homer in 14 consecutive games.
Take the home runs. I'm a big fan of the home run.
Hey, Flower Power is leading the parade, baby. There's no doubt.
Take them.
But you're right, they're not always going to be there. Holds back 2-2.
No surprise to see Mike Trout shading towards right center. Franklin Gutierrez seeing a lot of breaking balls from Moore, but also Franklin's power is to right center.
Breaking ball, and with that, Gutierrez retired. 2 outs.
A lot of off-speed pitches to Franklin Gutierrez, and including this one, just 72 miles an hour. Looks like a pretty good changeup, Ryan.
Yeah, it is, especially with the speed differential too. That's 72 miles per hour. Usually you see 10 to 12 miles per hour on that changeup from the fastball, but when you have that kind of speed differential back and forth, it can just add to that. Doesn't matter so much about the movement, but it's definitely the back and forth on that pitch.
See what Cano can do here with 2 outs and O'Malley at first base. 2 runs in for the Mariners. Iannetta and Martin have scored.
You see right there, 20 miles per hour. That difference on the pitch. That fastball 92, change up 72.
That's huge. Cano a double high off the wall back in the 3rd. And no time call. Mariners last night saw their 3-game winning streak come to a close, trying to start a new one here tonight. They've won 9 of their last 11, though, and 11 of their last 14. Through the right side, a base hit. O'Malley puts on the Jets and now puts on the brakes. Calhoun comes up firing a missile to third base. Very wise move.
Well, I think that they go over that in the scouting reports. But Sean also has played here for the Angels and is aware of Calhoun and his throwing arm, one of the best throwing arms in the American League. I think he just wanted to see him throw it. I don't think he had any real intentions of trying to go first to third on that play.
You shut it down in a hurry. So a 2 for 3 night for Cano, just as we were saying, Mike, that he was struggling a little bit since the All-Star break. Multi-hit effort so far this evening. Brings in Nelson Cruz with 2 outs. Now the first pitch to Trout territory. He'll handle it himself. The Mariners strand 2, but they get 2, and they take a 2-run lead at the bottom of the 4th inning. greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Let's go down to the farm. Double-A Jackson in the Southern League. Dan Altavilla since July 3rd. He's been fantastic. 15 appearances. Has knocked down all 7 save tries. As the Generals closer, you can see the ERA under half a run. And a fantastic strikeout to walk ratio for the former 5th-round draft pick of the Mariners a few years back.
Bring him on up. Part of the Wolf Pack.
Looking good so far. We've seen Altavilla in spring training a little bit. Jeffrey Marte leads off the bottom of the 4th. Mariners have given Cody Martin a 2-run lead. First pitch curveball for a strike. Marte sacrificed fly back in the 1st inning. That made it 2-0 Angels. The Mariners have gone on to score 4 unanswered runs.
Good chance this inning for Cody Martin to have a good, efficient inning and really turn that momentum around. Anytime you can drag out the top of that inning like the Mariners did, and then you can go out and give a 1-2-3 quick inning, get him back in. That's when the momentum really shifts your way.
He's faced the minimum once. That was in the 2nd. And that was despite a leadoff single and a 2-out walk. And 2 runners thrown out at second base. Martin gets ahead of Marte. And the right-hander's 1-2. That curveball's been a really good pitch for him this year in the majors. Opponents hitting under 100 against it this season in his limited time up in the majors, but he has thrown that pitch a lot. Kind of a funny swing, still 2-2.
Yeah, he saw it again right there. That was a 2-strike curveball, but he gives it 2 different looks. He can throw it in the zone for a strike early in the count, and then bounce it with 2 strikes. So anytime you can give, one pitch, give it 2 looks, always makes it really effective.
Comes in on the hand, still 2-2.
You start seeing mixing in a little bit more as this game goes on. Second, third time around the order, that's when you start seeing him using that curveball, maybe pitching backwards a little bit. You saw right there, 2-strike fastball in on the hands.
And what do you mean by that, pitching backwards?
Well, anytime, second, third time through, usually you try and get through the lineup the first time around, all fastballs, and try and keep some of that stuff in the back pocket with the curveball, the cutter. And now you're starting to see Cody Martin elevate a little bit, pitch inside with that fastball. Anytime you pitch backwards, it's when you can start the guy off speed and then speed him up at the end.
Marte's fouled off 3 pitches with 2 strikes. And again the 2-2. And pushes the count full. Andrelton Simmons on deck. Next pitch will be number 9 to Marte, leading off the Angels' 4th. Swing and a miss. The curveball gets Marte a lengthy battle. 9 pitches, and Cody Martin's the winner. The best fireworks show in the galaxy is at Safeco Field this Friday night. We'll be kicking off Star Wars weekend with a fireworks display set to John Williams' famous score and clips from the Star Wars series. Use your hyperdrive to head on over to mariners.com/Jedi for tickets and details. Second strikeout for Cody Martin. Pours in a strike to begin the at-bat versus Simmons. Ryan, hearing you talk about 1 pitch and manipulating it to kind of make it 2, made me think of Iwakuma. We'll see Iwakuma tomorrow, but we know that he's got that slider and the cutter, and he said earlier today that he has 3 different grips that he can throw that pitch on. Cano, other side of second, and he gets Simmons again. That's worth another look. This one not quite as dramatic as the first time around, but Pretty impressive work.
Yeah, anytime you see that ball trickle past your feet as a pitcher and you look behind and you see that second baseman just coming in on it like that. And Robinson Cano, one of the best in the business. And not as dramatic as obviously the first one, which was an amazing play. But just having that range and just that throw, puts so much behind that throw.
So much with seemingly so little effort. First pitch strike to bust. But we're talking about Iwakuma. One pitch, 3 grips, and he can manipulate it 3 different ways. Yeah,
it kind of sounds like, remember Daisuke Matsuzaka used to have about 18 different pitches, you know. But a guy like Iwakuma, like we're talking about, same pitch, different location. Iwakuma is the best example of a guy who can just flat out pitch. He's not lighting the radar gun up, but he can go in and out and just give you different looks all game long.
We'll have a chance to see him tomorrow in the series finale. The 0-2 just gets a piece.
Cody Martin in a good position right now. 0-2 with 2 outs. Being really efficient. See if he goes back to that curveball. Execute this pitch out of the strike zone.
He's coming up on 70 pitches with 2 outs, nobody on here in the bottom of the 4th.
The guy at the plate too, Nick Buss, spent some time down at Salt Lake City this year. I guarantee these 2 guys have seen each other at the AAA level at some point this season.
The 0-2. Cody Martin looking for what would be his second 1-2-3 inning of the night. Skip being right behind the bag at second. Ketel Marte, and that will end the inning. A 1-2-3, bottom of the 4th for Cody Martin. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by BNSF, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. By Honda, the minivan that first brought you an available built-in vacuum. The Odyssey, official vehicle of Little League. And by Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com. We are seeing Mariners fans all over the place here in Anaheim. Taking in Game 3 of this 4-game series. Mariners right now leading 4-2 as we begin the top of the 5th, and it starts off with Kyle Seager. This is still Mike Morin, who took over for Tyler Skaggs. If you go back to that first inning, it looked like this could be a long night for the Mariners. Skaggs was just ferocious in that first. A quick ground ball out to O'Malley to begin the ball game. Then back-to-back strikeouts as Seager trying to bunt his way aboard. And then things certainly changed in the second against Skaggs.
Yeah, he looked really good in that first inning, just locating all day long with that fastball. And I was in the same boat as you, Aaron. I was like, okay, this is going to be a long night. But then, just the inconsistencies seeped through in the second inning, and you see him start to miss pitches in big counts. And that's when these guys jumped all over him.
They threw over 40 pitches in that second.
Yeah, that'll definitely get you.
Seager leading off the fifth behind the count, the 0-2. So Skaggs, who pitched very well against the Mariners back at Safeco Field, does not escape the fourth here tonight. It'll be a long night for Mike Scioscia's bullpen. Seager lays off 1-2.
Yeah, we touched on that on the top of the fourth, talking about anytime your bullpen gets taxed, when you, as a starting pitcher, do you go out and think, well, hey, I've got to get deep in this game. This is a night for Shoemaker, who's sitting in that dugout right now, knowing that the whole bullpen is going to get used and in a close game.
Marte with the backhand recovers, and Morin finishes off the out. How about we take a look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Sleep Train. This road trip will come to a close tomorrow night here from Anaheim, and then it's home for a big Star Wars weekend at Safeco Field. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Brew Crew, some interleague play. And then the very new look New York Yankees come to town. Boy, that is a much, much different team than what it was when opening day came around. And then the Mariners back on the road. Chicago, and then a big series against the Texas Rangers. So a nice 6-game homestand right around the corner. We hope to see you out at Safeco Field.
Much, much different philosophy for the New York Yankees too. Rebuilding. I never thought I'd say the New York Yankees are looking to rebuild.
When's the last time you talked about the Yankees being sellers at the deadline? It has been forever.
Yeah.
Well, they have restocked. One out, bases empty for Dae-Ho Lee. Mariners by 2 runs. Ahead of the count, 2-1. Now 3 balls and 1 strike. Morin fires away, and it's slammed foul.
Dangerous pitch. You see that on the tracer, right down the middle to Dae-Ho Lee in a 3-1 count.
Now, we've talked about Dae-Ho's struggles. 4 for his last 48 entering tonight. The payoff pitch, and Dae-Ho rung up looking for the second time. Borderline pitch. We'll take another look.
You see the catcher right now set up inside. He missed out and away over the plate, but he throws a lot of change-ups. So Dae-Ho in that situation, 3-2. Right after that fastball he missed down the middle, probably looking something off speed.
2 outs, it brings in Iannetta, who has had a very productive night so far. An infield single, which brought in a run, and also a double off the wall in right field. The first pitch, a high pop-up. Jeffrey Marte over the shoulder. And that will quickly end the top of the 5th. We go to the home half. Mariners by 2. Columbia Bank difference of the game. The Mariners win into the top of the fourth. A tied game. But Ketel Marte batting ninth here tonight, a deep sacrifice fly out to left field. That brings in Chris Iannetta, who doubled to begin the inning. And then how about this play? This was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah. You know, with 2 outs, and again, you see a dynamic player like Sean O'Malley dropping the bunt down, and then just good base running all around. And again, giving this team another way to score runs besides that 3-run home run.
Martin able to score from second. This is Carlos Perez, the catcher, leading off the bottom of the 5th. He's ahead 2-0. Perez made his major league debut last year against the Mariners. Had a walk-off home run in his big league debut. As there is some activity inside the bullpen stirring for Mike Scioscia. Guerra loosening up.
This is one of those games that bullpen can throw all those rolls out the window. Everyone's getting in there tonight.
Tyler Skaggs did not escape the 4th. A broken bat, a flare dying quickly and in front of Cruz. Or Gutierrez, pardon me.
It's always tough to swallow when you throw a good executed cut fastball out and away, and the guy gets off the end of the bat and then drops in for a hit like that, especially with none out. Start the inning.
Perez a leadoff single that brings in Petit. Martin retired the side in order in the 4th. He's facing 8-9-1 here, and then of course you have the likes of Calhoun and Trout to follow. Petit a walk earlier, his only plate appearance so far tonight.
It's one of those situations. The bottom half of this lineup hasn't done much at all this year for the Angels. Obviously, that top half, you know, when you're looking at Trout and Pujols do all the damage. But this is a chance when you're in the 5th inning, you have that quick 4th, come out and get a couple quick outs in the bottom of the lineup before you go into that 3rd time through the order.
Move to keep an eye on Perez. It is amazing how this Angels offense has changed just in recent years. 2 years ago, the Angels 98 wins. They won the West, and they led the majors in runs scored. They were swept in the postseason by Kansas City. But since then, they're 18th in the majors in runs scored. They are 19th in homers. They're in the bottom 3rd of all of baseball in OPS over the last 2 seasons. And now this roster has changed dramatically. No doubt about that. As Cody Martin has limited the Angels to just 2 runs so far tonight, both of those coming in the 1st.
Yeah, they've always been a tough opponent. When I was pitching with the Mariners, they were always tough. And the one thing that made them tough was the way they ran bases and did the little things.
The 2-1. Bobbled. Marte to second. Canos throw to first, not in time. Now for a bobble, they made that throw to first base look pretty fast, look pretty quick rather.
Yeah, even to make this close is pretty impressive. You see the bobble right now. This would have been a huge double play heading into that 3rd time through the lineup, but Robinson Cano making this play so close. But get that lead runner, 1 out, runner on first.
One out, 1 on. It brings in Escobar. Fouled over by Seager. Now, Ryan, you mentioned facing the order the third time through. You talked earlier about pitching backwards. Is that how you go about it in a team like this when you're facing them for the third time around?
We usually try and conserve the third pitch, fourth pitch in your arsenal for this last time through. You've faced each other 2 times already. You've had that battle before. You've both made adjustments, the hitter and you as a starting pitcher. The third time around, that's when you make your money as a starting pitcher. And this part of the game, that's why you always see sometimes with a guy like Cody Martin or even young pitchers, the wheels start to fall off in these middle innings because that's the third time through the lineup, and that's when you start seeing the adjustments having to be made.
Drew Storen getting loose. 2-1. Now 83 pitches for Cody Martin. Escobar's 2 for 2, a couple of singles, one stayed on the infield. Hit off of DeJoly's chest, in fact. Seager can't get it. Petit moves it to second base. And the tying run is aboard.
Again, you see another ground ball, that cut fastball just out of the reach of your defense. Now you're in a tough spot. The meat of that order coming up with 2 runners on base. See Mel Stottlemyre coming out just to give Drew Storen some time to get loose.
Escobar 3-hit night. Calhoun has become a slightly different player this year for the Angels. His home runs are down. He had 26 last year. Is sitting on 12 right now. But his strikeouts are down. His walks are up. And he's not pulling the ball as much. He's going the opposite way much more. And as a result, his batting average overall has increased. So a little bit of a different player than what we saw last year, but a very good player nonetheless.
Yeah, when you see a guy starting to go the other way more, makes him that much tougher to pitch to.
2 on, 1 out. Now Cody Martin trying to keep his head above water here in the 5th inning. Calhoun is the go-ahead run. And it's 2-0. Really dialed down that curveball, 71 that time. Petit at second, Escobar at first. The 2-0. And it's 3-0 with Trout on deck. Now that was a close pitch.
Yeah, when the count's 2-0, you're probably not going to get that borderline pitch. High on deck, Mike Trout. It's a tough at bat right now. Cole Calhoun, 3-0 with the guy you do not want to make a mistake to on deck.
A 4-pitch walk. That'll be it for Cody Martin. Drew Storen warming up, ready to go. And he will inherit a bases loaded jam with 1 out. Mariners trying to hold on by 2. In the state of Idaho, then Root Sports is looking for you throughout the month of August. Submit a photo and story on our website at rootsports.com/ultimate-fan, and you could win a VIP trip for 2 to Seattle in September, a personalized jersey, and more. For official rules, just visit rootsports.com. Well, that's the end of the night for Cody Martin.
Yeah, you see, right, he didn't get deep into the game. He was giving his team a chance to win, chance to get to that bullpen. He leaves with the lead, but see, right, you see right here with the four in the third, he just labored a little bit too much in that last inning. And like I said, got to that third part of the lineup, and that's where you've seen each other a couple times, and that's where he really labored. New pitcher Drew Storen, 6.05 ERA, 46th appearance, 41 innings pitched, 36 to 12 strikeouts to walks. Drew's been put in some high leverage situations since coming over to the Mariners. And Aaron does not get any more high leverage than this.
He's got the bags packed, one out, facing the boogeyman, Mike Trout. And it's ball one. Gregorio Petit, the man at third base. Escobar, who's singled to get aboard, is at second. And Calhoun just walked on 4 pitches. The 1-0.
Good fastball right there, 93 in on the hands. Really expands the strike zone for that Drew Storen slider. He's always had a good one, especially as a former closer. He's always had that nasty slider. If you can get 2 strikes here on Mike Trout, good to see him go for that slider outside of the zone.
One-time Nationals closer. In the middle of a mess with 1 out. Tying run is at second, the go-ahead at first. And it's 1-2. That's a scary pitch to Mike Trout.
Yeah, you can see the tracer right there, right down Broadway, and he got away with one right there. But right now he's in a good situation. 1-2. He's able to expand the zone a little bit here, and that's where Chris Iannetta has to do some good blocking right now because that slider is going to be buried.
The 1-out, bases loaded. Mariners trying to hold on. The 1-2. I'll do it again.
So Chris Iannetta trying to go with the elevated fastball. Change the plan a little bit against Mike Trout. So lift his glove up. Definitely a miss on that pitch. He was trying to elevate against Mike Trout.
Again, Storen's 1-2. Off-speed pitch, and he rings him up with the knees.
Good slider right here. So Chris Iannetta again touch the ground, so hey, bury the slider in. Effectively wild inside the zone a couple times there, where getting in front of Mike Trout with that fastball, 1-2, and then throwing that little curveball for a strike, able to freeze him. Good pitch, even though he's trying to bounce that pitch for sure.
Oh, that is huge. Base is still loaded though for Albert Pujols. Bending in for a strike. Pujols an RBI back in the first. Now 93 on the season. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Storen's 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Location much better right there outside of the strike zone. You can't live in the strike zone as much as Drew Storen has this inning, but able to execute on that 0-1 pitch.
Storen's 0-2. Out to center, Martin. quickly to the track, and he makes the catch in the inning. Storen douses Trout and Pujols to end the 5th.
See the range by Leonys Martin, living inside the zone. Drew Storen, Albert Pujols able to put a good swing on that pitch, but that's why they brought him over here. Leonys Martin could run down balls in center field.
Better. We've got a new pitcher up on the mound. It's Deolis Guerra taking over for Mike Morin.
Yeah, Guerra having a really good year. 2.79 ERA. Good strikeout to walk ratio. 27 strikeouts, 3 walks. Opponents hitting 208 as we see all the middle of this bullpen coming out tonight.
Mike Morin very effective, an inning and 2/3 scoreless, just 1 hit. Martin leading off the Mariners' 6th inning. How about that for some pitching from Drew Storen?
Yeah, that was. See, a game like that, he struggled at the beginning of the year, and you saw the numbers flash up on the screen. He's got this +6 ERA, and you're trying to chip away that ERA and finish the year off strong. When you can come out and get a Mike Trout and an Albert Pujols, get some huge outs like that, it just does huge things for your confidence going down the stretch. And this bullpen's good as it is, but when you can add a piece like Drew Storen, who's had that closer experience, it just adds even more.
2-0 to Martin.
Guerra, another guy with a good changeup. We saw Morin's changeup last inning. And now you see Guerra with that nasty changeup.
Martin, Marte, and O'Malley do up 8, 9, and 1 here in the 6th inning. Two and 1.
Pitch just outside the zone, but when you're able to execute down in the zone like that, more often than not, the umpire's going to give you that pitch.
We take a look at Drew Storen, who inherited the bases loaded.
He's feeling pretty good right now. It's a good feeling when you're sitting in that dugout. The chest is out a little bit. Feeling pretty good about yourself. And so he should.
Weak ground ball. Escobar on the grass. Gets rid of it quickly. And is able to retire Martin for round number 1. While Edwin Diaz helps the Mariners rack up saves, the Mariners Moose helps young Mariners fans rack up savings. Wednesday, August 24th, all kids 14 and under take home their very own Moose Bank thanks to KeyBank. Don't miss the special 12:40 matinee against the Yankees. Tickets at mariners.com. Part of a 6-game homestand, a big Star Wars weekend coming up. Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Brewers.
Still waiting for the lightsaber. $2,000 special edition lightsaber coming from eBay.
The first pitch swinging and missing to Marte.
I got to admit, I never really caught on to Star Wars until episode 1. Young Anakin Skywalker. I never caught I still haven't seen the first 3, like the original 3.
But now you're hooked?
Wouldn't say I'm hooked.
A running bunt, and it's 0-2. Talking about Drew Storen, Ryan, kind of leads us to the discussion of what relievers look at most when they look at the numbers at the end of the season. You mentioned the ERA for Storen. It was so lofty with Toronto. He's trying to lower that now in a Mariners uniform. But if you are a reliever that's doing anything but closing and you are always having the chance to inherit runners, I have to imagine that simple stat, as Marte is down swinging. Up there, you can say he got a piece. And that has got to be one of the more, if not the most important things that guys in the bullpen look at.
Definitely the most important thing. And even as a starting pitcher, when you look at guys in the bullpen who come in after you, the inherent runs scored, to me, is the biggest stat. And I think, I think that's, when you go into an off season, whether it be, as a free agent, reliever, or go to arbitration, that's the one number that should be looked at the most.
Strikeout to Cattell. First 2 sat down by Guerra here at the top of the 6th inning. And we've seen Tom Helmson excel in that this season.
Yeah, and that's, when you were talking 6th, 7th inning, when you got a guy who's coming in, they're going to get those inherited runners, especially when the starter runs out of gas, gets 110 pitches deep, and they leave those couple guys on. When you have that kind of weapon in the bullpen, I don't care about the ERA or the strikeouts to walks. Just get out of the inning with no damage, and that's the biggest number for me.
And steps O'Malley. Spoils the first pitch foul. And there has to be a great feeling as reliever when, in this case, Storen walks down the steps. He strands 3 runners put on by Cody Martin. There's got to be a fist bump waiting for you when you come down to the dugout.
There better be. I'm giving it, and I better be getting it too.
Nuno getting loose.
But, he threw 2/3 of an inning, but that feels like, he'll be thinking about that for another 2 weeks.
As that gets O'Malley down to the foot. Extends the top of the 6th. That puts a man on for Gutierrez.
Nothing intentional here, that changeup. A lot of changeups right now from Guerra. He likes to throw when he's ahead in the count 50% of the time. No payback from that home run O'Malley hit off Guerra back in Seattle, I'm pretty sure.
1 of 2 this year for O'Malley, both on that homestand. 2 outs, 1 on for Gutierrez. Guerra 27 out of Venezuela. Spent last year with the Pirates, just 10 appearances. That was his rookie season. A strike as Perez gets a look down to first base to get O'Malley back to the bag.
Guerra with that back and forth. Talked about the changeup earlier. The effective velocity, speed differential. A fastball on the inner half to the hitter's eye is a different speed to that fastball on the outer half, and especially when you can change speeds with that changeup.
The 0-1, 0-2.
See another one right there. That good arm action too. Nothing slowing down with that arm. Anytime, as a 12-year-old pitcher, you see these kids that they try and throw the changeup and they want to slow everything down. And you even see that at a higher level too. If you can keep that same arm speed, that's what the hitter's keying off. You see that good arm action from Guerra with that changeup.
Check swing, goes around. 3 pitches, all strikes to Gutierrez, and that ends the top of the 6th. Brian Roland Smith, thanks for swinging by.
Always a pleasure, Aaron.
Good to have you. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning as the Mariners lead it 4-2. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Money Tree, proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. By Jack in the Box, taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box, limited time only at participating restaurants. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Drew Storen back up on the mound. And it's good to have Mike Blowers back, Blow.
Good to be back. How about that curveball that Storen threw Mike Trout? It's one of the best curveballs we've seen this year.
That whole sequence from Trout to Pujols, that was pretty awesome. One and one. Marte leading off the bottom of the 6th after the Angels left the bases loaded in the 5th inning. Seager gets to it quickly. Unloads to first base for out number 1. Quick step to his left, 1 down.
And it looks like Vidal Nuno getting loose in the pen for the Mariners. I think right now for Scott's service, Cody Martin did his job, had to throw a lot of pitches, he was bending a little bit, but did not break. I think he was happy with his outing overall. See if you can get Drew Storen to get through this inning, then you probably go Caminero, Wilhelmsen, and Diaz. Sounds pretty good to me.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Well, Simmons has had 2 at-bats. He has put the ball in play both times. And on each occasion, it has been Cano on the other side of second base, getting to it and making a very long-distance throw. The first one was spectacular. The second one, well, compared to the first, was pretty good because the first one was incredible.
The first one was incredible. The second one, I would say, was routine for Robinson Cano.
Breaking ball on a 1 hop. Thigh high to Seager. 2 outs, both the way of the hot corner. We'll take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next as this series wraps up tomorrow. Iwakuma and Shoemaker. Iwakuma going 5 1/3 innings in Oakland earlier on this road trip. That will be it for Drew Storen. We've got a pitching change. The bottom of the 6th inning, the Mariners lead it by 2. Big meeting between the Mariners and the Yankees at Safeco Field coming up on this next homestand. The showdown takes place Wednesday. It's August 24th. A very special afternoon start time. A Mariners matinee at 12:40. We hope to see you there. Let's just go ahead and say it's going to be a beautiful day. New pitcher up on the mound. It'll be Vidal Nuno after a very impressive outing from Drew Storen.
This will be his 42nd appearance on the year. He's really pitched well. A 2.80 ERA for Nuno. 43 strikeouts over 8 walks. Only 8 walks in the 45 innings that he has worked. Opponent's hitting .254. His fastball right around 90 miles an hour. Has a slider, curveball, and a changeup.
Left on left. The first pitch, a strike to Buss. The 1-1. And Nuno ahead 1-2. Overall, what'd you make of Cody Martin tonight, Mike?
I thought that he was fine. I mean, he was obviously excited in the first inning. His fastball command wasn't what we were used to seeing, but he was able to get through it, gave up the 2 runs, and then after that, I thought he pitched really well. And if you look back in the 5th inning, it was a ground ball to Marte. That probably should have been a double play ball, and then maybe he's able to get through 5.
Yeah, a little bit of a bobble cost. Martin able to make the catch very routinely. That will end a 1-2-3 bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the 7th as we take a look at our Delta Airlines wildcard standings. These have been updated from earlier today. The Yankees and the Astros and the Tigers all losing. And it was a rain-shortened contest, a final in 7 from Camden Yards as the Red Sox bludgeon the Birds 8-1. They knock around 13 hits to give David Price the win. So the Red Sox right now a game above the Orioles in the wildcard standings, and then the Mariners right now 2.5 games back. Getting awfully close.
Jose Alvarez going to take over. Mariners have seen him a number of times this year. 48 appearances, a 1-2 record, a 3.88 ERA, 44 strikeouts over 12 walks. Opponent's average high against Alvarez, hitting .309. He's given up 4 home runs. He has all the pitches. His fastball at 91, and he'll throw his changeup, curve, cutter, slider. It'll be Cano, Cruz, and Seager due up here in the top of the 7th.
Speaking of the wild card, it will be very interesting as tomorrow a 4-game series between the Astros and the Orioles begins. So that will be quite the series to watch for Mariners fans, as the Astros right now have lost 4 in a row. 2-0 to Cano.
Baltimore lost tonight.
Red Sox have won 6 straight, by the way. The Tigers have lost 3 in a row. Stroked out to right field, but Calhoun able to track it well. 1 out. Mike, you and I were talking the other day about the American League Cy Young race right now and what it looks like and how impressive Zach Britton has been. He's been historic. The closer who's been flawless for the Orioles. How about Jay Happ?
17 wins. 17 wins.
Happ 9 strikeouts over 7 1/3 against the Yankees today.
Yeah.
He's 17-3. Strike 1 to Cruz. Look at the American League East. The Blue Jays, as we mentioned, winning today against CC Sabathia and the Yankees. Red Sox hoping that David Price continues to turn things around in his first year in Boston. 0-2 on Cruz.
Cruz did not like it. Having a conversation with Alan Porter. Both those pitches borderline down. I think as a hitter you'll accept one of them and hopefully you'll get the call on the other. Split the difference, but that did not happen. He's in an 0-2 count.
On the ground, an easy play for Petit. 2 outs. And I just have to wonder when looking at Jay Happ, traded away at the deadline last year by the Mariners, and it's not that Happ was a disaster for the Mariners by any stretch of the imagination, but a movable piece at the deadline. And then Ray Searage, who is just seen as this absolute guru in Pittsburgh, has Happ for a couple of months. He throws up a ton of zeros in a Pirates uniform, an ERA around 2 during his time in the National League with Pittsburgh. Seager climbs in with 2 outs and dunks this into right field. Seager's 3rd time aboard, his 2nd hit. But you wonder how much that played a role in it. Back in a familiar territory in Toronto, where kind of before his first time around with the Blue Jays, bullpen rotation was a little unclear, but he has found a home in that 5-man rotation for John Gibbons.
Well, you also have to wonder too, a veteran guy in Happ. The Mariners obviously really struggling last year, and he goes to Pittsburgh, who was in it, and this year a lot of expectations on Toronto. It might have helped him too.
0-1 to Lee.
Kyle Seager 2 for 2 off of lefties. That average continues to go up. He really hit left-handers well last year, but struggled with him, especially early in the season. So he's trying to make up that ground, but it's a good sign. Caminero getting loose in the pen. So it looks like it's just what we were talking about, Aaron. Caminero in the 7th, probably Tom in the 8th, and then Diaz in the 9th.
99, 95, 97, 100 over the last 3 innings. Dae-Ho Lee strikes out for the 3rd time. And that ends the top of the 7th. It's time to stretch here in Orange County. The Mariners lead it by 2. right now because you need to be ready if you win Washington's lottery. Play today. Beautiful night outside Angel Stadium here in Anaheim as the Mariners have a new pitcher to begin the bottom of the 7th. Vidal Nuno does his work to finish up the bottom of the 6th, and they hand things over to Archimedes Caminero.
Really good fastball from Caminero. He'll be 97 to 100 miles an hour. Has a cut fastball that'll be in the low 90s and mix in a split. 45 appearances for him, a 2-3 record, a 3.38 ERA. 48 innings for him, 38 strikeouts, 22 walks. Opponents hitting .280. With the Mariners, last night was his 6th appearance, and it was the first earned runs that he's given up as a Mariner.
But as you may have mentioned at the time, especially on the home run ball, Mike, you did not feel like that was a pitch that was necessarily a mistake.
No, I thought it was a good pitch. It was just hit. This is the big leagues, and it's going to happen. And we've talked about it. I've said it even with Diaz, as awesome and as dominant as he's been, he's going to have one of those evenings. Last night it was for Caminero. He made a good pitch, and Marte hit it out of the ballpark.
Facing Carlos Perez, the catcher, and he pours in a strike.
And I wonder, after last night, if maybe we'll see his cutter and his split a little bit more. Really throwing a lot of fastballs last night, and I felt that Marte was cheating to get to that pitch at 97.
Two and one.
So after the first pitch strike at 97, he came back with 2 cutters, missed with both of them.
Missing to make it 3-1. Pinch hitter on deck, Cliff Pennington. And on a 3-1 count, a soft fly ball to right field. Gutierrez is there to make the 2-hand catch. 1 down. And that brings in Pennington.
Pennington, a switch hitter, and he will hit for Petit.
Not many pinch hit appearances this year for Pennington. 0 for 4.
Good fastball at 98 miles an hour. Pennington can run, so Kyle Seager playing in on the grass at third, take the bunt away.
Mike, fair to say that as a pinch hitter, you have a different approach looking at a guy throwing 100 than you do against maybe a crafty lefty?
I think the main thing that you want to do as a pinch hitter is the first fastball that you get that's in the area. You at least want to get a swing in. I think it's one of the things, one of the best that I've seen is on the Mariners and Seth Smith. And you watch Seth pinch hit, a lot of times if he gets a fastball that's a strike early in the count, he typically is going to be aggressive, and that is what you're taught. When you get a hitting coach, he'll tell you that, be aggressive on the fastball early.
2-2. And a full count. Escobar on deck. He's 3 for 3. One out on the payoff pitch. Martin having to hurry up, and he's able to slide and make the catch. 2 down here, the 7th.
Well, it was a big swing, and he just froze in his tracks for a split second. And fortunately, he has a lot of speed in center field and was able to make this sliding catch. Fastball that ended up jamming Pennington. He had to cover a lot of ground to get there.
Well, you're right, Mike. Just judging by the first two hitters that he's faced, Perez and Pennington, I can't remember the last time, and of course limited appearances for Caminero, where we have seen him throw this many cutters.
It's cutter, and he's also
And
makes
the split.
in the split, which I think is a good idea.
Foul ground, and it will land on the track. Long way for DeJoly to go for it.
I think sometimes, Aaron, and by the way, with his cutter and a split, he has not thrown either one of those pitches for a strike yet. And typically, he's not trying to with his split. He wants you to chase that out of the dirt. But just by throwing those pitches, it gives the hitter something else he has to think about, as opposed to just pumping that fastball in there and try to time it. So it has an effect, even though he hasn't been able to throw it for a strike.
Two outs, nobody on. Caminero ahead of Escobar. And now it evens up. And how much of an effect does that have if you're the guy on deck watching somebody at the plate, seeing those pitches you're talking about?
That's exactly right. And you'll go back to the dugout and you'll talk to the other guys on what he has and what he's throwing. And so you start thinking about those pitches, as opposed to, hey, guys, he's just coming right at us. He's got a good fastball. Get it started early.
So it's not just isolated to your at bat.
Right.
Yeah. Escobar with 3 singles and a run scored tonight. Looks at a strike, not pleased.
His best fastball so far at 100 miles an hour. He's not pleased because he's not going to do anything with that pitch. Right on the corner, probably just below the knees, but was able to get the call at 100.
Caminero's 1-2. 4 for 4 night for Escobar.
And again, it's a pretty good pitch. It's at the knees, outer half of the plate at 100 miles an hour. That is not an easy thing to do. Escobar, one of the better hitters in the American League this year.
Now that brings a tie and run up, and Cole Calhoun. A walk on 4 pitches. He was the last batter that Cody Martin faced. 2 outs, Escobar at first. And time call. Oh, 0-1.
I like that pitch. Start him off with a cutter. Out in front of it, well located.
Calhoun batting over .350 this year against the Mariners, including a double tonight. And to center, Martin having to close on it on a hop. 2 outs and now 2 on, back-to-back singles.
Take a look at it. Wants the fastball in the outside corner. It's actually on the inside corner. It jams him. Little soft line drive into center field. It just dies right in front of Martin.
And in steps Mike Trout. Trout the go-ahead run. Never does it seem like Trout is anything other than the tie-in or go-ahead run.
You're absolutely right about that. I was just thinking that would have been really nice for Calhoun to hit a fly ball into center field that Martin could catch, and then you have Trout next inning, leading the inning off. You're already up by a couple of runs. But instead, here's the situation that they're in.
First and second, 2 outs. Camanero's first pitch. A 3/4 swing and a miss.
I like that it was an elevated fastball. We've talked about it with Trout. We've seen enough of him over the years. He likes the ball down in the zone, and this fastball is in the middle of the plate, but because it's elevated, it ties him up. All the outfielders playing deep, trying to take the double away right in front of the warning track.
One and one.
Tried to go back upstairs again. Seager guarding the line at third.
Escobar at second, Calhoun at first. Calhoun the tying run. The 1-1. Missing to make it 2 balls and a strike.
Caminero has now thrown 20 pitches in the inning, 11 strikes.
It was Trout who struck out looking on a breaking ball with the bases loaded in the 5th. He comes up here with 2 outs and 2 on in the 7th. Evens it up. Caminero facing the best player in the game who represents the go-ahead run. 2 outs, 2 on. The 2-2. Slicing foul.
Turned out to be a pretty good pitch. You can see the location at 100 miles an hour on the outside corner at the knees, but Chris Iannetta was set up on the inside corner, so he missed his location. Fortunately, it worked out for him.
Caminero at 22 pitches here in the 7th. And time is called. Back-to-back 2-out singles has brought in Trout in the last of the 7th. Again, the 2-2. And he fights it away once more.
It's not quite getting it to his location. Again, they wanted the fastball inside. That one ended up in the middle of the plate. At 100 miles an hour, still jammed him. He was just fighting it off. See Trout choking up on the bat a little bit.
Some white knuckles inside the Mariners dugout. Here we go again, the 2-2. Caught on and missed. He blows it past him at 100. Trout is finished off by triple digits. And a tying run is left at first. Stations are open on Capitol Hill and at the UW. You can plan your trip, as always, at soundtransit.org. Caminero gets out of a bind to end the bottom of the 7th. Pennington stays in the game. He pinch hit. He's at second base for Petit. And a new pitcher for the second straight night, J.C. Ramirez on the mound.
Ramirez really struggled last night. He has a good fastball. He'll be in the mid to upper 90s. 51 appearances for him. You can see the high ERA, and it's because of some of the control problems that he has had. He's given up 10 home runs this year.
His first pitch to Iannetta. One low skip. Andrelton Simmons. Bill Glover takes care of it easily. 1 out.
And Tom Wilhelmsen getting loose in the pen. There's Tom. He's really pitched well for the Mariners. He's coming over for the Rangers.
Two different guys. With 1 out, it brings in Martin. He looks at a strike. Like we talked earlier about the importance of winning series, especially at this stage of the game. The Mariners right there in the thick of the wild card race. And if the Mariners can hold on to this one tonight, up by 2 in the 8th inning. Shoemaker is no slouch going for the Angels tomorrow, but with the way that Iwakuma's been pitching, you have to feel pretty good about that one, at least to take 3 games out of 4 here in Anaheim.
Shoemaker has pitched much better lately, so it's not going to be easy for him. But yes, you definitely feel good about Iwakuma, who's going to be going for his 15th win on the season tomorrow.
Now, you're right about Shoemaker. His ERA does not quite tell the story. He's been much better than that lately. 2 outs, it brings in Marte. Starts him off with strike 1. So far, this is a very different J.C. Ramirez than what we saw last night.
I'll say 5 pitches, 5 strikes.
He couldn't throw a strike to first base last night. Strike 3 called. Marte is rung up, and the side is retired in order. It's off to the bottom of the 8th. Time to call the bartender. The Mariners leading by 2. Into the bottom of the 8th inning. We have seen some pretty critical at-bats from the Angels with Mike Trout at the plate.
Some dangerous at-bats, but Drew Storm with a great curveball to get him looking. And then Caminero just challenged him 100 miles an hour right down the middle of the plate and gets him to swing through it. A couple of runners on. It's part of the advantage, Aaron, of having a power arm. You can throw some pitches in the middle of the plate and get away with them, even to one of the best players in the game. Tom Wilhelmsen going to take over. Tom has really pitched well for the Mariners. It was a struggle for him with the Rangers, but obviously he's happier. 17 appearances, a 1.76 ERA for Tom, and 15 1/3. He has 13 strikeouts. Opponents hitting just 163 against him. He's had a good fastball. His fastball in the mid to upper 90s for Tom. Also the great curveball. Also mix in a changeup and a slider.
Facing Pujols to begin the bottom of the 8th. Starts him off with a strike one.
Pujols just 3 for 19 in his career against Tom.
It is incredible the difference that this guy is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and at 10 o'clock at night. He just flips the switch.
I thought it was great in his last appearance, and seeing him stomp around in the dugout once he was done, and it was pretty dominant. But you could see the intensity in him, which, as you mentioned, we see him at 3 o'clock or after the games, and you're not going to meet a nicer, happier guy.
You know, we call him the bartender, but he's really the stand-up comedian.
And if you need somebody with a dance routine, Tom has
he's
that
there for
you
you too. He's got you covered.
Yeah.
But he knows how to flip the switch. Still 2-2. But you're right about the emotion, Mike. On the last homestand, there's that one sequence where O'Malley made this fantastic play at shortstop to help in the inning, and we haven't seen Tom as fired up as we saw him that day. And as you mentioned, it's carried over a little bit. Not to make too much out of that, not to say that he wasn't fiery before, but just a little bit more so. Granted, that was a big point of the game.
Yeah, outwardly a little bit more than what we've seen in the past. You have to remember, too, at one point, Tom was a dominant closer for the Mariners organization, and then things started to go south for him, and eventually ended up in Texas, was not happy. And now he's setting games up for a team trying to get into the postseason.
Dae-Ho Lee giving this one a look, but a souvenir.
Tom's best fastball so far, 97 miles an hour.
Pitch number 8 coming up to Pujols. The 3-2. Seager on a snare. Easily completes out number 1. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Of the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Seager making it look pretty easy. 1 up, 1 down, and brings in Marte. Strike 1 to each of the first 2 hitters. This series wraps up tomorrow with Iwakuma going up against Shoemaker, and then it'll be a late arrival for the Mariners back home. 6-game homestand. It begins with 3 against the Brewers Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Again to Seager, but foul. Now the Brewers will be coming to town, maybe a little battered and beat up. They just played a doubleheader yesterday at Wrigley Field, and were outscored in 8-1 of those 2 games, losing both.
And they lost 6-1 today.
Facing Leicester today, and then facing Arrieta tomorrow. And as we saw, that Cubs rotation, there really is not a weak link.
No, they're pretty good.
Spins in there for ball 2. But the Brewers have lost 4 of their last 5, and you can't really say that the Yankees are too soft of an opponent. They're over 500. They're making a push for the wild card. They have a very young roster all of a sudden. Jacoby Ellsbury might be the only recognizable veteran on that team in terms of position players. Seager right on top of the chalk, and a long distance strike for out number 2.
Tom will be in good shape if he gets everybody to hit ground balls over to that guy. A smash, and then this one down the line. Kind of a funny hop, but Kyle can handle it. Strong throw across the diamond to get him by a step.
We talk so often about shortstops like this guy, Andrelton Simmons, making the flashy plays, but you got to make the routine plays. And for a guy like Seager, knowing that late in the game, a 2-run game, as you mentioned, Mike, a vacuum over at third base, and the routine stuff, although that wasn't the easiest of plays for sure, you just know that he's going to get that done.
He makes them look easier
yeah,
more
exactly.
times than not.
Two and 0. Tom struggled with his command a little bit his last time out, although ended up pitching well overall. Has fallen behind here 2-0, and a full count to Pujols. Never an easy battle. And now 3-0.
He's had a good fastball tonight, but really hasn't had a lot of bite on his curveball tonight. It's just kind of rolling up there.
I saw that one just spin in a few pitches ago.
He's thrown a few of those, which is not like Tom. Typically, he'll really bury that curveball.
Gets a strike. The 3-1. And now a full count. Two outs, nobody on. Mariners by 2.
And I like that Tom went right at him. You'd really like to see this out right here. Then you have Diaz to come in and close it out. And he's going to face 7, 8, and 9 in the order if you can retire Simmons right here.
One more time, the 3-2. Quickly, Marte can't get there. First hit tonight for Simmons.
Well, Tom just going at him, fell behind 3-0, was able to get back to 3-2, challenged him with the fastball, just out of the reach of Marte with his diving effort.
Nick Buss represents the tying run. On the first pitch, Martin chuck it in on a hop. Simmons rounds second base, but he holds up there. And things suddenly getting a little interesting here in the 8th inning, and the trickle-down effect of what this will mean in the 9th.
Well, and we're going to get a pinch hitter. Perez was called back to the dugout, and it looks like it'll be Bandy. Bandy with a home run in yesterday's game. And it will be Jet Bandy.
And this will bring a visit to the mound.
Stottlemyre going out to the mound, give him a little bit of a breather. Thomas throwing 21 pitches in the inning, 13 strikes, and probably go over the scouting report on Jet Bandy. Bandy with just one at bat against Tom. He's 0 for 1. See the numbers, runners in scoring position. Mariners pitching again, doing a good job against the Angels.
The tying run is at first base.
Diaz getting loose in the pen for the Mariners.
Ball 1 to Bandy. Bandy is the go-ahead run. And now 2-0. We saw the Angels surprise the Mariners last night in the 8th inning.
Well, Tom's going to have to make a quality pitch with his fastball right here, because Bandy, he looks to me as he's more of a cripple hitter. 2-0, 3-1 counts. He's going to cheat on the fastball.
Two and 1.
Good pitch right at the knees on the outside corner at 96 miles an hour. Tom, knowing he had to stay out of the middle of the plate, was able to get the strike.
Diaz continues to warm. Time call. Two outs and 2 on. And it's 3-1. Cliff Pennington, who pinch hit back in the 7th, waits on deck. Now things getting very interesting all of a sudden after Wilhelmsen sat down the first 2. Back-to-back singles, Simmons and Buss. Tying run at first to go ahead at the plate. The 3-1. Out to center. Martin is there very easily, and that will end the 8th inning. 2 runners are left stranded once again for the Angels. Wilhelmsen survives the 8th. Mariners take the lead in the 9th. once this one's over. Jet Bandy stays in the game, is now catching for Mike Scioscia. J.C. Ramirez on for his second inning.
Top of the lineup for the Mariners. O'Malley going to lead things off. Looking for a little insurance run. Aoki has come out on deck. He will pinch hit for Gutierrez.
Two and nothing to O'Malley to begin the ninth. Well, we certainly saw, Mike, in that eighth inning that Ramirez, if you catch him at the wrong time, he can throw hard and he can actually throw for strikes. Last night he was just, it seemed like overthrowing almost everything.
It was kind of the same thing that we saw when Ramirez was with the Mariners. You had to like his arm, but just inconsistent.
Simmons keeps his feet. One out for Aoki, pinch hitting.
Pinch hitting for Franklin Gutierrez, number 8, Nori Aoki.
Good numbers as a pinch hitter this year for Nori. Now, Mike, when we get to the bottom of the ninth inning, if Diaz can do what we have quickly become used to seeing him do, that is go 1, 2, 3, he would end the game with Trout on deck.
I think at this point you would like to see that happen because you do not. We were talking about it in Trout's last at bat. You don't want to try him too many times. Diaz continues to get loose.
The 1-1 makes it 1 and 2. The Mariners 2 runs in the second, 2 runs in the fourth. And so far that has been enough. Up the line at foul. Meanwhile, for the Angels, they jumped out to an early lead in the first inning. A 2-run first, but it's been all Mariners since, and they have had multiple innings down the stretch here tonight where they have stranded at least one runner in scoring position and multiple runners overall. And credit to the Mariners bullpen, as Mike Scioscia's offense has really labored this month despite 7 runs last night. Time called. Up the middle, Pennington can't get there. And Aoki just continuing to hit on this road trip. So 1-out single.
And pinch hitting. 5 for 8 now on pinch hitting.
Follow Mariners Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. At-bat telling us that earlier today the Astros have lost. They've dropped 4 in a row. The Tigers lost as well. So did the Yankees. Orioles losing in the finale, a rain-shortened finale versus Boston. So the Red Sox have now won 6 in a row. As we take a look around the wild card chase in the American League. 1 out, 1 on for Cano. Taking a strike.
That's going to work.
That will work it. Aoki into second base. So Cano 3 hits.
A little late on the fastball, chops it right inside the bag at third to pick up a base hit. You see Escobar how far off the line he was playing. Nobody getting loose in the pen for the Angels. Nelson Cruz about to step in.
Now Nelly has flown out twice to Trout, including one time with Trout's nameplate pressed up against the wall. He's also walked and scored. One out, two on. And time called. Ball one to Cruz. Mariners saw their 3-game winning streak snap last night, trying to start a new one here this evening. The 1-0. Marte in foul ground, and the Angels first baseman puts away out number 2.
Mariners are now 3 for 9 in the game with runners in scoring position. Kyle Seager having a good night. He's been on base all 3 times. A couple of hits, has scored a run and a walk. Kyle leads the club in RBIs with 79. Good time to pick up number 80.
He's got Aoki at second base, Cano at first. Both reaching on singles. The first pitch to Seager, and it's in there for a strike.
Kyle can reach. Adam Lind has come out on deck for the Mariners. So he'll pinch hit for Lee.
A win tonight for the Mariners would set up a chance for a series win behind Iwakuma tomorrow before the Mariners get back home. Two on, two out, top of the 9th inning. Trying to add a run of insurance for Diaz. Not that he has needed much help. 1-2.
You'll always take it.
There's no question. It has been remarkable how quickly Diaz has picked up his recent saves. His last one on 5 pitches. They were all strikes. First and second with Seager at the plate. We've already started to see adjustments to Diaz in some ways, just with how quickly opposing hitters are going after his first or second pitch.
They're aware of the fact that they do not want to fall behind at the rate that he's getting his strikeouts. So they can read the stat sheet and they know they do not want to deal with his slider.
Well, that would explain the 5-pitch 3-out save the last time. And how the strikeouts have suddenly gone down the last few times out for Diaz. He simply hasn't been able to throw 3 pitches to a hitter very often. 2 outs and 2 on, top of the 9th inning. And Seager down swinging. Bandy completes the strikeout. The Mariners strand 2 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Mariners about to send Edwin Diaz out of the bullpen, out of the mound. The Mariners holding on to a 2-run lead. And Diaz to face 9-1-2 in the Angels order.
And for Diaz, 7 for 7 in save opportunities, a 1.64 ERA. In 33 innings, he has 60 strikeouts, only 8 walks. Really pitched well. His fastball will be anywhere from 95 to 101, and a slider.
Norioki stays in the game, is in left field. Sean O'Malley moves from left field into right field. Gutierrez out of the game. There's O'Malley. Cliff Pennington leads off the Angels' 9th inning. Anaheim down to their final 3 outs, facing Diaz. Swinging strike to get things going. Diaz with 2 of his 7 saves against the Angels. Make it 3. 101 missing. Into center field. Tying run comes to the plate.
Well, 99 miles an hour. Just drops the barrel on it and picks up a base hit.
Yanel Escobar is 4 for 4 tonight. All 4 hits have been singles. He looks at strike 1.
Starts him off with a slider.
Oh, 2.
Another one just off the outside corner.
Escobar has already had 1 5-hit game this year. He has a chance for another one here, but he's behind. 0-2. Diaz delivers. Bounces way in front of the plate. And now Pennington moves into scoring position.
May not seem like much because the Mariners are up a couple of runs, but with Pennington moving up, it takes the double play out of the equation, which means Mike Trout will get another at bat.
Nobody out, a man at second. Base hit up the middle. Pennington waved in. He scores, and this is a 1-run game.
All sliders to Escobar. 4 pitches, 4 sliders, and he stays on the last one. Really not in a bad location on the corner, maybe up a little bit. Seven pitches, 5 strikes for Diaz.
A 5-hit night for Escobar. Only the second run Diaz has allowed since taking over the closer's role. Escobar, the tie-in runner, brings in Cole Calhoun. Ball 1. Fastball in for a strike. Calhoun at the plate, Trout on deck. One and two. A slider that caught a lot of the plate. Calhoun is the winning run. The 1-2. Caught on and missed. Rips a slider past him for out number one.
Well located slider. This is going to be down off the inside corner and gets him to swing over the top of it.
Last two times up for Trout.
From Drew Storen, he gets a curveball, takes it, strikes him out looking. And then Caminero just went right at him. 100 miles an hour down the middle of the plate, throws it by him.
One out, one on. Strike one to Trout. Escobar at first base, the tying run. Diaz, 2 outs to go. Second pitch at 101. Scott Service needing just 2 more outs from his closer. Up the middle, a base hit. Escobar flatter on second. Martin comes up, throwing hard into third base. Trout to second, and he is safe.
Well, this is just a solid base hit right back up the middle at 99 miles an hour. And the outfielders were playing deep. Martin trying to throw out Escobar at third. He makes it fairly easily. And right after he let that ball go to third, he immediately hung his head because he knows he let the go-ahead run reach second base and Trout. Because Trout had stopped at first until he saw that throw to third. Mel Stottlemyre making a trip out to the mound.
And now Pujols.
Right here you have the veteran Chris Sinetta behind the plate. Just had a trip from your pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre out to the mound. A very young closer in Diaz out there. The go-ahead run is now at second base. You have first base open. And they're just going to put him on. Good. Go right after Marte. I like this. If you had a veteran closer, you might trust him. Pitch around him a little bit, see if you can get him to chase something. But with Diaz, just put him on. Go after Marte. It'll be Marte and then Simmons after that. Tell you, Aaron, I'm trying to think of it, but I can't remember Diaz giving up 3 hits in an inning.
No, I'm with you. That's a season high.
First baseman, number 19, Jeffrey Marte.
Now Marte, a little swag on deck. Slam it in here with one out of the bases loaded.
And it was in last night's ball game that he cheated on a fastball off of Caminero. It was 97 miles an hour on the outside corner. Makes it tough right here. You'd like to see a slider, but bottom line is he has to throw strikes, something that Diaz has done.
Escobar, the tying run at third. The winning run, Trout, is at second. Swing and a miss.
There's the slider. I like that pitch. Last night, cheating on the fastball from Caminero, 97 miles an hour, and he hit it right off the screen of the foul pole. That was his 9th home run of the year.
The 0-1.
Another slider.
0-2.
Cheating on the fastball on both pitches.
Diaz fires home. Got out and missed the slider again. 3 pitches. Every time the slide piece, and he is out number 2.
Well located sliders too. If you're cheating on the fastball, they look like they're going to be on the outer half. You can see from the tracer clearly off the plate away. Well located, all 3 pitches.
Diaz bending, trying not to break here in the 9th. A run in, and the tying run at third. Winning run at second. Here is Simmons. Again. 4 straight.
Right back to the slider.
One and one. Service watching like the rest of us. The 1-1. Lays off this one.
That's 6 sliders in a row.
This will be number 25. Pitch number 25 for Diaz. No place to put him. Escobar, the tying run at third base. 2 outs, bases loaded. The 3-1. 3-2.
That shows a lot of guts. You have the tying run, and he comes back with another slider. It is in the middle of the plate. That's a difficult pitch to throw, especially when you know you can reach 101 miles an hour. But he was able to get the strike. This will be a running start for Trout at second base. Base hit, there won't be any chance for the outfielders to throw him out.
Well, here we go. Seager snares it, gets up, long throw, and Mariners win!
Wow! He came back with another slider, and it's actually up out of the strike zone as Simmons tomahawks it right down the line, and Kyle Seager, a game-saving play. Not only does it keep it from getting to the outfield, which would have let Trout score, but he ends the game on that play. Kyle was busy tonight, but no bigger play than that one right there.
Absolutely incredible finish. The Mariners have taken Game 3 by the narrowest of margins.
Been an interesting series so far. You look at Diaz tonight, it's really the first time we've seen him struggle. It's the first time he's given up 3 hits in an appearance this year, much less an inning. But he's able to work his way out of it. I was really surprised to see how much he went to his slider, but it gives you an idea of the confidence that young man has to really to throw it in that situation. I also got to give Cody Martin a lot of credit today. He ends up getting the start. I know that he was trying to get through that 5th inning, but the main thing was keep the club in the ball game. He held him down to 2 runs. Really nice job by Cody, and then the bullpen. They really did their job, giving up just the 1 run over the rest of the ball game.
What a finish. Mariners postgame presented by Delta Airlines starts right now with Angie.